Hi there, Loy Machedo's video, loymachedo.com, Loy Machedo TV. Today's book review is going to be First Things First by Stephen Covey. This is the abridged version that I happen to hear. First things first, understand why so often first things aren't first. Now, I read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People when I think I was 19 or 20, and that was nearly, I think, if I'm 36 right now, I think I read it 17 years ago. And now I'm reading First Things First once again. So what's it about? It's about going through life focusing on the compass and not the clock. So finding out what are your priorities, what is important, what are your values. So he divides it into 4 quadrants. The first one being urgent and important, what you need to do immediately, or there'll be problems. Let's say, for example, your baby's sick, you need to take the baby to the hospital. The second one is Quadrant 2, that is not important, but not urgent but important. So the first one is urgent and important. The second one is not urgent but important. He believes that this is where we should dwell in, let's say, for example, your health. So it is not urgent that you need to take care of your health, but it is important. Then Quadrant 3 is urgent but not important. It is like having people asking you, please send this email immediately, or asking for you to sort out things, even though they're not important but they're urgent. And finally, Quadrant 4 is not important, not urgent. Let's say wasting your time checking out all the emails and getting in touch with all your salespeople, even though it's not required. So these are the 4 quadrants. Now, he says that we need to move from the mentality of doing things at the last moment to actually planning out and working as per our values. It's like not working on the thick of thins, or on the, what was that? The thick of thin things. Thick of thin things. Yeah, I hope I got that right. And it's more like the example, most famous example he gave is a big jar. You put the big rocks first, then the smaller rocks, then the even smaller rocks, then the sand, and finally the water. So now this is what the book is all about. However, there have been a couple of criticisms, and I can think of 3 major ones. The first one is he speaks throughout the book about leaving a legacy. Now the question is, if you are a CEO of a company, or you're a big shot, or you're a visionary, yes, leaving a legacy sounds great. But then if you are a middle class guy who is trying to pay his bills, I mean, I don't think leaving a legacy is the last thing on your mind, or the first or most important thing on your mind. You don't think about leaving a legacy, rather you think about paying your bills and what the future is going to hold for you. The second is, the book is a lot of fluff. I mean, there's too many great sounding words, and if he had removed the fluff, he had got to the point, I think it would have been at least only 1/4 the actual size. And finally, stuff like mission statement, personal values, leaving a legacy, blah blah blah, all that sounds really nice. These are great sounding words, but let's get to reality. I mean, I train a lot of people, and they like listening to all this stuff, but it comes to the bottom line, man, I got to pay bills. I need to focus on the skills that immediately get me revenues. So they are not actually interested in leaving a legacy and being immortal, if you actually ask me. So these were the great sounding words which helped Franklin Covey succeed. But eventually, if you do know their history, they got bankrupt and they had to seriously restructure, because we as human beings, we don't sit and live our life in a mechanical form, like these are my personal values, this is my mission statement. I mean, people just throw everything aside and just live their lives doing what they're supposed to do. So we need to be pretty realistic. So, moment of truth. The book gives you great sounding words, great sounding concepts, but the practical application is in question. I mean, can you actually live your life based on a mission statement, a vision statement, and goals and objectives? I doubt, because end of the day, people try to do their best, but they get back to being human, which is having the plus and the minus, and being lazy with all the other drawbacks that come into it. So overall, I give this book a 6 out of 10, because though what he says is correct, I think the practical application is in big question. So it's pretty questionable, and I think we need to ask ourselves what can be applied, what is not practical, what is practical. So overall, this is Loy Machedo giving you the book review for First Things First by Stephen Covey. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be glad to answer. Signing off for now.